All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, July 2nd, 2012. Can you believe it's July 2nd already? We are now a little more than halfway through the year. All right, our results this morning. The ES was difficult to trade this morning. We are actually down about 20 ticks on the ES per contract. We are up 14 ticks on the YM, and we are up 5 ticks on the NQ. We didn't take any crude oil trades this morning, though there were a whole bunch of them. And I'll go through the crude trades, okay? But we did do a whole bunch of crude trades this morning. I mean, we did generate a bunch of crude trades. We didn't actually take any. All right, let me start off by saying if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply, and you can take the free trial. With the free trial, you get everything you see here, the charts, the indicators, the data feeds. You also get access to our live trading room. You get 5 days in our live trading room, 2 hours per day. And that's 5 business days, 2 hours per day from 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning Eastern Time. All right. You get all that for free, no credit card required. All you need to do is go to www.cfrn.net/apply and fill out the little form. All right. Let's do this. The ES this morning, we had a little bit of trouble on the 10,000 contract. We took the first 2 trades right here, and they both did not go in our favor. All right. We got right here. We had a bearish cross pull back up to the BBC. Once it hit the BBC, it just kept going. Then we had a bullish cross and a pullback down to the BBC, and again, once it hit the BBC, it just kept going. This one over here we didn't take because we had a trade on from a different time frame. Okay, and then over here we also had a trade on from a different time frame right here. Okay, once I saw that the 10,000 contract wasn't working as well this morning as it normally does, I just flipped to a smaller time frame because we could see that we were stuck in this range. I mean, you can see right here, I had drawn in these trend lines this morning, and it's pretty much been stuck within that range. It's the range itself was from 55.5 down to 49.5, so it's a 6-point range. It was triggering trades right in the middle. But anyway, let me go through that. So we had -2 trades right there. Then this is the ES 4-tick range. Okay. I got short over here on the ES and got a point profit. I got short over here on the ES, and that one actually stopped out during the break. That was right before the break. That gave a little bit of profit, and then it turned around and went back up to stop out. This time frame, this is the 4-tick range ES. Using the 4-tick range ES the same way that we do every other 4-tick range thing. There were a couple of opportunities in here. There's one there and one there. To get some of those points back. I did get a point out of this one, but I gave it back right here. All right, so the ES was tough to trade this morning. That was the one market that was tough. The other markets were not that tough. Let's see, on the NQ we're up 5 ticks, but let's scroll back here. I didn't take too many trades on the NQ. As a matter of fact, I think I only took 2. I lost my first trade right here on the NQ. We had bearish divergence. Price came up, tested the BBC. It dropped down a little bit, and then it stopped me out. The next trade, same thing in the opposite direction. We had bullish divergence this time. I took the long right here after price tested the BBC and gave an up close. And I got all that back, and then another 5 ticks. All right. There was another opportunity right here. Now what we're looking at, the setup right here, guys, is when the MA1 is above the BBC, like this one over here, crossed up above the BBC. The MA1 is this blue and red line right here. Crossed up above, pulled back down, tested the BBC. When it's pulling back like this, it's looking for an area of support where it can bounce off of to continue the move up. When you have this divergence right here between the green line and the cycle, that's when you look for the price to stop and to get pulled right back up, or pushed right back up, we should say. Okay, just move right back up like that. And that's what it did. All right. The next one was right over here. Okay, I missed this one, but we had the bullish divergence right here. It tested the BBC, gave an up close, and moved right up. Right after that, there was another one over here where it gave a bearish close. We had the bearish cross. bearish divergence, test to the BBC, and the move down. All right. Then we had that news event right here that just created all this, and there was no trading in there. There was no reason to trade anything in there. The market went a little bit crazy. We had a bearish cross here. This is a minute after the news event. We didn't take any of these trades either. The market was still a little bit crazy in here, but it had slowed down enough so that you could take the trade had you been watching it. It tested the BBC, gave a down close. Over here, it tested the BBC and gave an up close. This one would have stopped out. That one obviously would not have. And let's see, we had bearish divergence here, tested the BBC, gave a down close. That gave about 6 or 7 ticks profit before it pulled back. Okay, it did end up going down to here. It depends if you took the trade, if you had what your stop was on it. I generally use 8 ticks. So from 2612, 2614 is where my stop would have been, right up here. But from 2612 down to 2610 and a quarter, I probably would have taken some profit on that. At least when it closed down below the MA1 right here, that's when I move my stop to break even. Okay? Usually, that's when I move my stop to break even. So I would have probably gotten a break even on that, or maybe locked in a couple of ticks, had I taken the trade, but I didn't. Okay, over here we had another bearish cross, tested the BBC with a down close with all this bearish divergence right here. Okay. This time it ran right up through the BBC, came over here. We had bullish divergence, but it didn't slow down. Then it gave some bearish divergence after it crossed back down. Tested the BBC, gave a down close. So there was another opportunity to get short in there. Let's see, again over here, when it closed down below, I probably would have taken some profit at that point, locked in some profit, at least move my stop to break even. If I had taken the trade here and I had not touched my stop, I would have been getting in at 2609. My stop would have been up at 2611. So you would have been able to get into that if you had done it that way. Of course, I didn't even take the trade. Bullish divergence tested the BBC with an up close, and that brings us into the break. All right, right here, bullish divergence tested the BBC with an up close. Bearish cross tested the BBC with a down close, and this, I don't know where all these arrows come from. When I blow it up, it just moves the arrows all around. But we had this bearish divergence right here. After this tested the BBC with a down close. Okay. We also had it right over here, but the cycle's blue and moving up against it. Right now we have bullish divergence. Everything looks okay. You could actually get long right here. Though I don't think we're going to trade anymore today at this point. The markets seem to be slowing down quite a bit here. Volume's coming out of them. All right, now on the YM, we have to look at the YM on 2 different time frames today. Okay, we usually do anyway, but I'll show you what I did on the YM. We're up 14 ticks on the YM on the morning session. Okay, I didn't take any trades here. Let me back this up some. I didn't take any trades here right at the open, but they did set up the same way they did on the NQ for the most part. Okay. Hang on. I just want to make sure I have the question box up here so I see any questions. If anybody has any questions, just type them in here. All right. Dwayne and I are the only ones who can see the questions if you type them in. And Bert. Dwayne and Bert and I are the only ones who can see the questions if you type them in. All right, right here we had bullish divergence tested the BBC with an up close, and it moved right up to the zone. Okay, I wasn't looking to take a trade at the time because the ES was right at its zone. Let's see. Then we had all this stuff right on the news release. Wasn't looking to do anything in there. Over here we had some bearish divergence, a down close right there, but the cycle was moving up against it. Right here it looks like was the next good opportunity to get long, was right in there. All right, and right over here for the short, followed up by this short. I actually took this one. We had the bearish divergence, price pulled back up, tested the BBC. Let me blow it up a little for you. Price pulled back up and tested the BBC, gave a down close, and I took that one for some profit. All right. I also took this one over here, where price pulled back up to the BBC, gave a down close. I took that for some more profit. In here, I took a break even on this trade. Okay, and that was it on the 4-tick range YM trades that I took. Now, I took one trade in here on the 1500 contract, and the premise worked out just fine, but my risk wasn't enough. Now, I had said in the live trading room this morning, after we got this big drawdown, right here, this was on the news event at, right here. Price dropped 50 points, roughly, on the news event in a couple of minutes on the YM. And then it pulled back up and tested the BBC, and I had said, when it pulls through the BBC, I had said I was going to put a sell stop in right below the BBC, so it would capture me on the way down and bring me down here. I had forgotten to put my sell stop on. I put it on after it started to move back down and create this wick right here, when it started to create that wick. But it didn't fill me, because at that point, it had already dropped below the BBC, so it wasn't a sell stop anymore. It was just a limit order. And it didn't fill me, but it did drop, I think, 50 points on that one. Something like that. I attempted to do the same thing again over here. Once it created this wick on the top, I put my sell stop in down here. And it's deceiving the way this candle looks, because it filled me on my sell stop, but I only had 7 ticks risk, so it stopped me out, and then it dropped down again. And it dropped right through. Alright, and that gave another 30 ticks. So if you had done this one, I think this was 40. But 40 and 30 possible points right there on the YM. Alright, but that was my one stop out on the YM this morning. Now, a little something on the crude today. Okay, you can see right here, we just had this bullish divergence right there, and tested the BBC with an up close. That was the setup right there for the crude. Now, over the weekend, guys, I was looking at something else on crude, and I mentioned it in the live trading room this morning, and you're going to see a whole bunch of circles on the charts. There were 2 opportunities with what I mentioned in the live trading room this morning. One of them would have been right here, and the other one would have been right here. So you could have gotten long right there and right there. Now, with what I mentioned in the live trading room this morning, you don't need anything on price. You can take these lines right off of price. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to see price. You can do it without it. There would be another one right here, and yeah, it would have been right there on the price. That was just stuff that I mentioned in the live trading room this morning. If I back this out, you'll see a whole bunch of circles. The ellipses, those are all possible entry places on the crude this morning using what I had suggested. There were more than that. In this big move right here from 10.06 to 10.07, there was more that you could have done in there. I didn't highlight it because the market just went so fast. It would have been complicated. But even without that, there was plenty of opportunity here on the crude this morning. Unfortunately, I didn't take a single trade. I didn't take a single trade on the crude, but there was definitely some opportunity there. Now, the thing that I'm talking about, guys, if you were in the live trading room this morning, you heard me go through it quite a bit. If you were not in the live trading room, because either you're not a partner, or you're not on the free trial, or you're not an active partner, well, you need to take care of that. But we'll go through it in the partners meeting Thursday night. Okay, I don't want to get into it too much right here. All right. I don't think we're going to have David in here today. So it's just going to be Dwayne and myself and Bert for the most part. I don't see Robin in here either. Nope. Well, I guess I could take a minute to show you. It's more than just the green turning into the brown, which is something that also works all the time. It has to do with the location of the brown. If the brown is on, the proper side of the cycle line of the slingshot, and the green doesn't have to turn into the brown, it's just got to turn in the direction of the slingshot, the cycle. If the cycle is red and headed down, the green pulls away and moves down, and the brown is already below the slingshot, below the cycle portion, that's a good spot. All right, right here on the upside, there on the upside. You see the cycle portion isn't doing anything right now. It's not giving you any information. So you wouldn't be able to use it there. But over here, I was looking for it to happen to give us a long opportunity. That's why I drew this rectangle in here. But then the round turned below the cycle portion. Okay. Right there was good, and right there. And that was pretty much it. Yeah, Bruce. They were. I know that they were definitely going to take the week off, but I didn't know if David was going to come in or not today. He had said he might come in, but we do.
My
have Mike.
understanding was that he wasn't today.
Okay, we do have Mike Reed in the room though.
Well, good. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Mike. Let me just shut my recording off right here. Okay, I'm going to shut the recording off. That was it for the morning, guys.